Okay, imagine this. Your boyfriend goes to Macy's, grabs a $10 pair of socks, swipes his card, and thinks, you know what, no big deal, I've got autopay set up. Right? He ignores a couple of emails, just totally assuming the system's going to handle that tiny little $10 charge. Well, a month later, you happen to glance at his credit alert, and boom, his score has plummeted by a massive 60 points, literally 60 points, all over a late $10 charge that autopay somehow missed. That's actually a real story from a Reddit user, and man, it is a brutal cautionary tale.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today, our whole goal is to make sure what happened to that guy on Reddit never ever happens to you. We're going to walk through exactly how to handle your Macy's credit card payments so you can protect your credit score, avoid those crazy massive fees, and just manage your account with total confidence.
Okay, let's dive right into our 5-step roadmap. We're going to cover decoding your Macy's bill, top ways to pay, setting up automatic payments, troubleshooting and pro tips, and finally, common questions answered. All right, kicking things off with step 1, decoding your Macy's bill, and really understanding all that jargon. So here is literally the single biggest trap in the credit card world. When you look at your bill, you're going to see two main numbers, the minimum payment and the statement balance. Now, the minimum payment looks super appealing, right? Because it's usually just this tiny fraction of what you actually spent. But if you only pay that, you're going to get hit with Macy's famously high interest rates on whatever is left over. So what's the bottom line here? Paying your full statement balance is absolutely crucial. It's the secret to avoiding interest entirely. To really get why that works, let's just look at the timeline. Your billing cycle runs for about a month, and then your statement closes. From that closing date, you actually get a 25-day grace period until your actual due date. And here is the absolute magic of that grace period. If you pay your full statement balance before those 25 days are up, zero interest accrues, none. You essentially just borrowed that money for free. Moving right along to step 2, top ways to pay, and figuring out your best method.
First up, we've got the absolute fastest and easiest method, which is paying online. You literally just go to the Macy's Credit Gateway or open up the Macy's app. You log in, click that giant Make a Payment button, and then just tell the system how much you want to pay, the date you want it to process, and which bank account you're pulling the cash from. It's incredibly straightforward and honestly gives you the most control over the whole process.
Now, if you aren't near a computer or you just prefer doing things over the phone, you can call 1-888-257-6757. You can easily use their automated menu by just pressing 2, but here's a really great little insider shortcut. If you press 5, it actually bypasses the robot entirely and connects you directly to a helpful human representative. Whichever way you choose, just make sure you have your bank, routing, and account numbers ready to read off to them. Okay, but what if you're already at the mall and you just want to pay in-store at a cash register? You can totally do that, using cash, a check, a debit card, or a money order. But please, please note this absolutely vital detail. If you don't have your actual physical Macy's credit card on you, you must bring a physical ID and you have to know your social security number by heart. The cashier literally needs that SSN to securely look up your account. No exceptions. Finally, there is the mail option. But I want to actively warn you here. This method takes the longest time to process, for sure. Plus, the address where you mail your check depends entirely on which card you have, whether it's the proprietary store card or the Macy's MX, and what region of the country you live in. So for example, Central and Midwest MX users have to mail theirs to a P.O. box in Louisville, Kentucky. Always double-check your statement for the right address, and definitely leave plenty of extra days for the Postal Service to do its thing. All right, on to step 3, setting up automatic payments, which is definitely the smart way to handle things. Setting this up is an absolute breeze, even if you're a total beginner. You just sign into your account online, find the Enroll in Autopay option, punch in those bank routing numbers, and pick your payment amount. I highly recommend selecting statement balance as your amount, because that automatically bypasses any of those nasty interest charges we talked about. But, you can also choose the minimum payment or just a custom amount if you prefer. But wait, stop right there. There is a massive potential pitfall here that catches so many people off guard. You cannot, I repeat, cannot use a debit card for autopay or online payments in the Macy's system. No way. If you try to type in those 16 digits on the front of your debit card, the system is just going to reject it. You absolutely must use the direct routing and account numbers from your checking or savings account.
And that actually brings us perfectly back to the story we started this explainer with. As this one credit community contributor wisely points out, set it and forget it is a pretty dangerous myth. Systems glitch, bank connections drop, or maybe you switch checking accounts and just completely forget to update your Macy's profile. You really must still log in once a month just to verify that the automation actually did its job.
Which leads us nicely into step 4, troubleshooting and pro tips, where we'll look at mastering your account.
So here is a really important number to remember, 3. When you make a payment online, your account might instantly show a $0 balance, which totally makes you think the money has already left your bank. But in reality, it can take up to 3 full days for the transaction to fully post and clear your checking account. So please, don't spend that money in your checking account just because Macy's says 0. Give it 3 days to catch up.
Also, check out these incredible flexibility features they've built into the Macy's portal. You can actually schedule up to 5 separate payments per billing cycle, which is great if you like breaking your bill down into smaller weekly chunks. You can save up to 5 different bank accounts to your profile. If you make a mistake, no big deal. You can cancel a scheduled payment all the way up until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time the day before it processes. And hey, if your due date doesn't align with when you get paid, just call customer service and simply ask them to change your due date.
All right, final section. Step 5. Common questions answered, specifically focusing on fees and forgiveness.
The financial stakes here are very clear. And honestly, they hurt. If you miss your due date, you are immediately getting hit with a $30 late fee. But it gets worse. If you miss another payment within the next 6 billing cycles, that fee jumps up to a really painful $41. This right here is exactly why we spent so much time earlier talking about autopay and paying your statement balances.
But what about your credit score? Like, if you have an accurate late payment on your record, you can't legally just dispute it away. However, the credit community often points to something called the goodwill saturation technique. It's basically writing polite letters to Macy's or Citibank, fully owning up to your mistake, and just asking for forgiveness as a one-time courtesy. Now, just to be completely neutral and realistic here, lenders are under absolutely zero obligation to say yes to this. But many users feel it's definitely worth the cost of a postage stamp to try and save their credit score.
Okay, let's quickly recap our roadmap to success. Always pay the statement balance to avoid interest. Remember that golden rule. Use bank routing numbers, not debit cards, for online and autopay setups. And definitely monitor your automated payments closely every single month. Finally, please note this brief disclaimer. This explainer provides general educational information derived directly from our sources. For specific issues with your own account, please make sure to consult Macy's customer service directly at 1-888-257-6757 or speak with a qualified financial advisor.
So, you now have the exact tools, strategies, and insider knowledge to really master your Macy's card and protect yourself from those nasty fees. But I want to leave you with this one final thought. If a forgotten $10 sock purchase can drop a credit score by 60 points, what other everyday financial habits are quietly impacting your credit score right now? Keep learning, stay curious, and take control of your financial future.